Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off tonight with a conversation around the goalkeeper situation. And John Achterberg has been speaking about the Reds goalkeeper situation, and in particular about Kylian Kelleher. Here's what John Achterberg had to say. The end of this, what I'm about to read out, by the way, folks, I think you can really see potentially a little bit of a secret being let out here by John Achterberg, but I'll go through it and we'll see what you all think. So here's what John Achterberg had to say about Kylian Kelleher. He would like to play games, and obviously that would be easier if he went out on loan, but the problem for us is we need these good goalies, and he is one of our three. For his development, a loan move would be his next step, but the club have to make sure they have everything covered in case we have a problem with our keepers, and we know it will be hard to find a keeper as good as him if we let him go out on loan. It's not the ideal solution for him, and maybe playing matches will be what he needs now, but he is training with top goalkeepers every day at Liverpool, playing in our under-23 games, and that will allow him to continue to progress. Working with somebody as good as Alisson every day for the last couple of years can only help him. He sets such high standards in everything he does, and you can only learn from working with somebody like that. The higher level you train every day allows you to take your career up to the next level, but it would be the best solution for him to have a spell on loan at some point. What I would say is, we would have no issue putting him into a game, and I know the manager has faith in him as well. This manager shows great interest in everyone in his squad. He appreciates that you need a big squad to win anything, and it might be what we need to play our third choice keeper in a game, a big game at some point. Kylian has all the attributes to be a top keeper, and maybe he'll get his chance to play in the first team at Liverpool sooner than we expect. That last sentence there. Maybe he'll get his chance to play in the first team at Liverpool sooner than we expect. So, are we reading between the lines here? Do we see a potential start for Kylian Kelleher in the derby, or are we looking a little bit further ahead here? Is John Achterberg just trying to keep spirits up with the club? I don't know. There's been very little stuff in the media now realistically linking us to the likes of Jack Butland or Ben Foster. More fan stuff and just articles to drive interest, not really concrete interest that I've seen, more just to get clicks and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think on this one. Big match coming up on Saturday. I know it divides opinion amongst Liverpool fans. A lot of people saying keep faith with Adrian. Some other people saying play Kylian Kelleher. And then others saying go in and try and make use of this domestic window. Interesting stuff there from John Achterberg though. And it looks like we could be seeing Kylian Kelleher given a chance at some point. It just remains to be seen. Will it be the derby or not? Kelleher is horrible, mate. Well, if you're going to spell his name and slag him off, mate, at least try and get his name anywhere near correct. You've spelled it Keller, so I'm not going to take the opinion of somebody who can't spell the name correctly seriously, mate, because if you can't be arsed to spell his name correctly, I'm not really going to believe that you spent the time actually watching Kylian Kelleher, whereas I have spent time watching Kylian Kelleher, and I do have belief that Kylian Kelleher can come in and do a job. I'm not saying that he's the long-term solution for Liverpool, but I absolutely believe that he could come in and do a job as good as, if not better than, Adrian. And I've said this numerous times and I don't like going back over it, but there are certain tipping points in a goalkeeper's career at a club. Mignolet got to the point where no matter what happened, you're always just waiting for the next error. It was just a matter of when and not if, and you could feel that. You could feel it from the players, you could feel it inside the stadium, you could even feel it when you're sitting at home watching it on the TV. Adrian could get to the same point right now. Obviously Karius's was fast-tracked because of where it happened and stuff as well, but I just think with Kylian Kelleher, why not give him a chance? If we put Adrian in goal, we're all going to be sitting around waiting for that next mistake. Whatever we say, whether we want to not admit it to ourselves or try and make out like we're all great super fans and we've nothing but support in the lad, you know that deep down you've got doubts about Adrian. You know that. So if we have that as fans, what are the players going to have? Yes, they'll come out and say they've got faith in their squad. And yes, of course, they're a very tight-knit group. But I keep going back to Virgil van Dijk's face 4.5 minutes into that game against Villa. That's not the expression of somebody who really does have faith in that goalkeeper. So to me, I don't see the problem with giving Kylian Kelleher a chance. I don't see what Kylian Kelleher could do that would be any less potentially disastrous than Adrian. That's just my take on it. I think it's unfair for Kelleher to SDB. If he puts in a bad performance, that will be all he's remembered for. But that's the whole thing, isn't it? There are sink or swim moments in life. And this could be the making of Kylian Kelleher, as you've said. But I don't think it would be the breaking of him. And I know Brian spoke about this in the chat the other night as well. And he was thinking the same thing. That if Kylian Kelleher gets in and doesn't get, doesn't hit the ground running, doesn't put in a great performance, will that dent his career moving forward? Well, that's up to the coaches and the club to make sure it doesn't. And of course it's up to Kylian as well, that if and when he does get that opportunity, that he does make the most of it. And if something does go wrong, see it as a learning experience. I would say we've given the likes of Neco Williams opportunities when he was coming through. He made mistakes. We've given the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold opportunities when he's coming through. He made mistakes. Joe Gomez, he made mistakes. It's going to happen with any young player, whatever position that they're in. It just happens to be that when you're a goalkeeper and that mistake comes, it usually costs your team a goal. And then it's just a matter of, is that goal important? Does it cost you points? Or can you cover up that mistake by going and outscoring the opposition and getting the points anyway? So I would say, give him a chance. Yes, he may make mistakes, but that's surely part of the learning experience for any goalkeeper, is to go out there, get the opportunity, and prove that you will or won't make these mistakes. And if you do make them, learn to come back from them. Whereas if you give Adrian the opportunity and he makes a mistake, well, it's countdown time anyway to when he's going to be replaced until his contract runs down and when Alisson comes back. So long term, it's more beneficial for the club, in my opinion, to give the opportunity to Kylian to prove himself, because he's our player, and he's a player that could be here for the next 10 years against Adrian, who is our player, but will be leaving at the end of the season most likely. That's my viewpoint on it anyway. What else have we got? Obviously nobody watched Kelleher play before because he has made mistakes. Every goalkeeper in the history of goalkeeping has made mistakes, mate. Everybody. You pick the greatest goalkeepers of all time and I'll show you 5 fuck-ups that they made in a game. It happens. My point is, why invest the time in a goalkeeper that's not going to be here at the end of the season when we have an opportunity to invest the time in a gifted young goalkeeper that's worked his way up through the years at the club and should be given the opportunity? That's my take. I fully respect and understand that others will have a different opinion on it, and that's why I love these chats so much, because, you know, we come in, we share opinions and we disagree at times, but that's okay. So why are you complaining about Adrian? So because he's shit? I mean, can you honestly, Adam, look me in the eye, mate, and say that Adrian is the solution? That Adrian is going to come in and do a job? My point is, Alisson's the number one. None of us have any doubts about that. When Alisson's there, Alisson plays. Now, the point is, right now we're at a crossroads where we know we're going to need a goalkeeper for 4 weeks or so after the international break. As I would say about a youngster, why give the opportunity? And you can go back and watch previous streams, by the way, when other players who we were known were going to leave the club. I've said give the youngsters a chance, because you might as well invest the time and opportunity in somebody that's going to be here for the long term, or somebody that could potentially be here for the long term, against giving the opportunity to a player who, okay, might have experience, but is leaving. So that's the way I look at this situation. I look at it through the eyes that we've got a chance right now. We've got 2 goalkeepers who are, you know, both questionable for different reasons. Why not give the younger lad the opportunity to go out and prove himself? And if it works well, there's your backup goalkeeper potentially for the next 10 years. If it doesn't work well, then what's the worst case scenario? We get Ali back in 4 weeks. That loan that we spoke about earlier on for Kylian Kelleher gets the go-ahead in January next summer. He gains more experience and comes back to the club. That's the way I'd look at it. Absolutely accept that people have different opinions though. Brian said wait for after the Everton game is all I'm saying. It's a big game though, Brian. That's the only thing. It's a big game, and I would rather go into it with a positive mindset than go into it with a negative mindset. If we had beaten Aston Villa, even if the mistake had come from Adrian, I think later on in the game maybe, I think this will be a different conversation. But we're coming off the back of not just a defeat, a horrendous defeat at the hands of Aston Villa, and now we're coming to our local rivals who are already ahead of us in the league table at their gaff in a massive derby. I don't know, man. Having Adrian in between the sticks is not going to fill me full of confidence if I'm watching that game. That's all I'm going to say on it.